Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode today. I'm here with Brock again. Today we're going to be discussing some trades. We're going to call it fair or foul based on these trades we saw between different sources of either keep trade cut or actual trades from Fantasy Calc. And we're going to evaluate them on our opinions and just find out if fair or foul. Brock, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Connor?
I am doing dandy and I'm excited to get into this stuff.
Let's go.
So, first trade we have is a 2024 mid first, Tyreek Hill for Jamar Chase. So in this trade, you're
Okay.
taking two elite receivers on a points per game basis, considering the age and adding the first round asset. Brock, what is your first thoughts on this?
I personally think I would take the first and Hill over Jamar.
I think I would too. I think I'd rather ride out Hill for those 2 years that he's saying
Mhm.
until his contract's up and take a shot on one of these mid-round guys in this draft, whether it's a Odunze, Neighbors, a quarterback, something like that.
Because I mean, I feel like if you're talking about just like this next year, as far as like your receiver and how many points he's going to get you, I feel like Hill and Jamar are basically the same. And
Yep.
then you get a first round pick out of it. And like you said, Hill's good for 2, 3 more years, however many years he has left on his contract. Um, and then you basically get an elite receiver to replace Jamar, and then you get a first overall pick to replace Hill when he retires. So yeah, I think I'd rather go with that.
I like the upside of the pick. I also like the ability to use that pick as an asset to trade also if you needed to.
Yeah, that's another point too. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So second trade we have from Keep Trade Cut. One side is just Bijan, and then the other side you get Kyron and Pitts. So in
Ooh,
this one,
okay.
I am leaning toward Bijan. Where are you leaning right now?
I think I'd have to go Bijan. I mean, even if you are a team that needs a tight end, I feel like I'd still kind of want to stay away from Pitts just because they haven't they haven't used him the way that they should the
Yep.
past couple of years. And I feel like Bijan just has more upside than uh Kyron does. And I mean, he obviously has more pass catching upside. Um, but yeah, I think I'd agree with you, Bijan.
Yeah, I'm thinking Bijan has the ability and the talent to be the number one player at the running back position, and we
Yeah,
haven't
a
seen it
few
for the last
years.
couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Also, is it value so insulated because of the name value, where Kyron really is a 1 year wonder at this point. I think he is a good player, but if he isn't top five like he was last year, this year, I wouldn't be surprised. So
Mhm.
I think you're taking a chance, and you're really hoping Pitts regain some of his value because I mean his value's gone down the last couple of years. And
Yeah. Do you think he's done Pitts, or do you think
no,
he'll
I'm
eventually come
high on
on?
Pitts. He's too good to I think not figure it out. Or at least be a maybe not the elite asset we thought he was, but a very very good one. You know, better than a Goddard, but
Yeah,
maybe never a guy like Mark. Maybe he's like Mark Andrews. You know, something
but
like
like
that.
but like not a Kelsey or somebody.
Right, right.
I
Everyone
feel
thought he
like
was gonna
it's
be
not even his fault. I feel like it's the team. They just don't use him.
even when you see when they use him. There were some clips last year of throws. They're nowhere near him.
Yeah, because I
Like
mean,
he's
I've
getting.
seen
He had one
I've
of the
seen clips
worst.
where he's like wide open and they throw to the other side of the field. It's like, what are you doing?
Right. Yeah, when they do throw it to him, the it's like 3 yards off. So
Mhm.
I
I
think if
mean,
they can
I
get a
mean to be
decent guy
fair,
behind
they
center, he's gonna be good.
yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say. I mean, to be fair, they haven't had the greatest people at quarterback, so that doesn't help. But yeah,
Totally agree. All
mm.
right, so next trade we have here is Justin Herbert for Tua and Tyreek. So you get that stack from the Dolphins.
Ooh,
And so looking at it from trying to win maybe for like a couple years rather than a super long term thing, which I typically wouldn't do because I'm kind of a wheeler dealer. I would definitely lean towards the Tua Tyreek stack. I think Tua is a little bit worse than Herbert. He definitely doesn't
yeah,
have the
downgrade
upside
for
of
sure.
Herbert. Yeah, and you have a lot of questions with his durability and stuff like that. But it's not like Herbert's been healthy really either in his
Yeah.
career so far.
Uh-huh.
So I would take the guy who has been well above everyone else and Hill at the wide receiver position for the most part, like in that high up elite tier,
Yeah.
and use Tua as like a QB2 and a super flex, and I think you're golden with that stack.
I do think this is probably like the most fair trade that we've had so far.
Yeah,
I mean, they all say that they're fair, but it just depends on like what you as a team need. But I feel like this is probably the most fair just because, like you said, Tua is definitely a downgrade from Herbert, but Hill makes up for it. And yeah, Herbert, he's definitely up there as far as quarterbacks for uh fantasy purposes, but like you said, he's definitely had some injuries, so there's that risk too. So maybe you want to move on from that if you're trying to trade him. So
100%
um,
agree.
next one,
So here is another Herbert and Tua trade we have. So we have Herbert for the following. We got Tua, Antonio Gibson,
mm,
Brian Robinson, Deontay Johnson. This
my
was
my
found.
first thoughts are are like someone's just trying to get rid of Tua and they're just like throwing random stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Think in this case I would easily go with the Herbert side. Try to
Yeah,
take that next
100%.
player.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think Robinson's a plug and play, like 1 year, maybe one more guy, 1 year, one more year on him, as a serviceable
yeah.
player. Gibson hasn't been anything we thought he was going to be.
And
Johnson is a
I think
solid
the
player, but
fact
he's
that they're both on
replaceable.
the same team, like it's, I mean, yeah, like yeah, if you play them both, like they might both get you something that one running back would get, but
Yeah,
that's one that's one extra roster spot that you're wasting for just
yeah.
to
I
get
think the
one
only
player's
only way
worth of points.
only way I would consider this if you have like an extremely deep starting lineup league, maybe then the sum of the pieces
Yeah.
here makes sense. But even then, I'd rather have Herbert.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, so then the next ones look like it's kind of a list of a bunch of different
Yeah.
trades.
So I'm gonna just pick one of them. So let's take a look at the one that
Ooh,
has
what about the Devontae Smith one?
with the Hertz stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that one too. So you got the Smith Hertz stack with Tyreek as a throw in on top of that for Jamar and a 2024 first. Doesn't say what first. And
Yeah, so
immediately,
it's not
immediately
I
I'm
want to go
leaning
Jalen.
on the left. I'm taking the Smith side of this. Is there a pick in the rookie draft you think that would put you in position where you would take the Chase
Mm.
side?
No, even if it was the first overall pick, I think the other side is just too much value. Because to me, Jalen is the second best quarterback behind Josh Allen.
Yep.
Smith, he he's obviously not the number one on the Eagles, but he still scores a lot of points for being the number two. And then Tyreek Hill, he's probably right there with Jamar as far as receivers. And then the round one, like there's a slight risk with drafting because they just haven't been in the league and they can they could easily be a bust. But
Right.
yeah, I
And if you're trying to
even
think
if
of
the first overall, I don't think I would.
right, and if you're trying to think of like, can you take this 24 first and trade it for another player? Like 124
Mhm.
first, are you getting the equivalent of Smith or Tyreek? Like you're only getting one or the other to me. So like the pieces here don't really make sense.
Yeah. So okay, next one.
So again, we got another list here. You want to do one of these Bijan trades?
Yeah.
Basically what this list is about. I am zeroing in on the Bijan Kittle first, third for Herbert, Williams, and Kelsey. It's like the third one, fourth one down, fourth one down.
Bijan. Okay, so Bijan, Kittle, round one, round three, Herbert, Kyron, Travis. Ooh,
So who do you think is the best player in the trade? Start there.
That's hard to say because I feel like Bijan is the best, has the best upside, the best potential, but I feel like Travis Kelce is the best, but he's not. I feel like he's not going to play for many more years.
Right. So I agree. So Kelsey, when he plays at his level, he makes the most difference compared to like a uh, another player in that spot. Like you're getting
And
more wins above a replacement. So
right, because there's not
who?
too many not receivers. There's not too many elite guys at that position for tight end. I mean, yeah, you could get George Kittle, but I mean, he doesn't consistently put up the numbers that Travis Kelce does.
Right. And do you agree Herbert is the most valuable player in the trade? Like
Um,
from like if I was gonna just say like he's worth X, you think Herbert's worth more than Bijan, or do you think Bijan worth more than Herbert?
mm, I think they're closer than most people would think. But I think I'd probably put Bijan slightly. Uh, no, because I mean he didn't have. No. I feel like I go Herbert. He's proven himself in the league. Bijan, yeah, he has a lot of upside, but I feel like he still has to have that really big breakout year in order to really take that spot of being the most valuable.
Right. I think I agree with you. So there's a little bit of a gap there just because it's a quarterback. And this is a two QB league trade, it looks like on the right. Plus it's a tight end
Oh yeah.
premium.
Oh yeah, and it
So that
looks like one point PPR.
yeah, so 1.5 PPR for Kelsey. So
Ooh.
I definitely have a pretty good gap then between Kelsey and Kittle. I think Herbert has more value than Bijan because it's two QB. And you get Kyron,
But
who's
then
gonna
those
hopefully be still RB1. So like you have a good trio there. I think if you're trying to win next year, that's a great trio to have. And I think I definitely have it more than like the first and the third don't do it for me.
yeah, I feel like it depends who you have at your other quarterback. Like if you somehow got Herbert and like an Allen or a Hurts, maybe you have the room to give up Herbert to get a potentially elite Bijan Robinson, a small downgrade in tight end for Kittle, and
Yep.
then you can get more young talent in rounds 1 and 3.
Right. And it seems like this person probably banking on Kyron taking a step back.
Hmm.
But I don't know how far that step could be.
Yeah, so I feel like that one's more of a what your specific team needs kind of
Yeah, I
trade.
can see that. I think either way, I probably still stick with the Herbert side.
Okay.
Keep on rolling on here. So we have,
Another list.
yeah. Make sure I'm
Mm.
is this another Tua list? Am I looking at this right?
What about the Debo Samuel, McCaffrey, Tua? Oh, geez.
Yeah, this is a league shaking
This is
deal
a
here.
blockbuster. Yeah.
Yeah. We got Debo, C-Mac, Tua, first and a second this year's draft for Herbert, Kelsey, and Chase.
I think I would
So it
take
seems
that
like a
one.
lot of people keep moving Kelsey, Chase, and Herbert. Like these guys are moving along.
Yeah. I think I would take the left side with Debo.
So I'm not sure how I feel about having the Niners, both Niners players. I usually don't really care, especially when they're both such good players. But in this case, I'm not sure. So if I was just looking, I would say Jamar is equal in value to probably C-Mac. And I take that back. Probably Tua and Debo put together. And then
For Jamar.
Herbert, yeah. I think value wise, you go with the left. On the right, if you're trying to win next year. But I think you can make a good case that you can take a receiver with the second pick and a quarterback with the first, possibly, and you can
Mhm.
really outfit a strong lineup if you're looking at a team that had a couple holes. You kind of build,
Yeah.
especially because it is a 12 team start 11. So like having that extra player available, expanding your lineup a little bit, it makes a difference.
So now you were saying that you were kind of iffy because both of them are on the Niners. Would you consider taking the left and then possibly trading Debo or McCaffrey, and like
Yeah,
who would you
absolutely.
rather keep? Who would you rather keep?
I would definitely keep C-Mac just because he is elite over everyone else at his position.
Okay.
Debo kind of falls into a tier where he's kind of interchangeable with a lot of guys. Um, and that's an interesting point because
And I
what
mean,
could you do with
hopefully,
Debo?
yeah, hopefully he's not your only good receiver because with giving up Jamar Chase, that's to me that's kind of a tell like of okay, you drafted Jamar probably like in the top you were one of the top three of your original draft, and
Right.
maybe you don't have that many good receivers because you had Jamar and then all the other good receivers kind of went away. So that kind of concerns me a little bit about giving away your possibly only good receiver, and then everyone else might not be good. And then if you go ahead and trade Debo, then you really don't have anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but I think I'd take the left side for sure for me.
I don't know
But
about for sure.
I do see your side about if you want to win right now, you take the right side.
Yes, it depends. I hope the team on the right has a good lineup otherwise. Like I think
Hmm.
they better have like another running back in place that's a top 5 back hopefully.
Yeah.
Especially if they're doing this. They better have the rest of their team outfitted where this puts them over the top. Because if you're not in the spot right here, like to take Kelsey, then it's kind of a waste to me. But
Yeah, because I mean to give up CMAC, then you're like you said, you better have somebody else to replace him.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So the next one I'm looking at is Chase for Amon Ra and a third. You see that one?
Oh, yep, yep. Um,
So I think I have Chase and Amon Ra in the same tier. Keep Trade Cut has them separated by a little bit of points
looks like
here.
a little bit, yeah,
Amon Ra to me is more consistent. I like how involved he is in the offense, where Chase is more of a boom or bust kind of player.
yeah.
Um, I
I
think Chase
do.
is a better player, but
I mean, so if this is a 10, if this is a 10 team league, that 3-9 pick is basically a fourth round pick. I mean, how many good options do you think there are basically in the fourth round?
yeah, uh,
I think I'd almost want to keep Chase just because if you're saying that they're pretty much equal in your mind, and
yeah,
then just to get a scrub and replace,
right.
to me, I think
Yeah, I
I just
rather
want to
just
keep
saying like keep the
Chase.
name value of Chase.
Yeah.
He's more flexible if you have to
Hmm.
move him for
I mean, I'm
something.
sure you could
Yeah,
probably get somebody somebody else that's
yeah,
less than uh St. Brown, but but a higher draft pick possibly.
yeah. I think too. The other thing I would consider is the league format from scoring. So some people play best ball. If you're playing a best ball league, Chase might make sense because Chase is the guy that
Hmm.
can win you a week.
And I feel like he gets more targets than St. Brown does, but I feel like St. Brown, I feel like he scores more touchdowns.
I don't know how I feel about either of those statements. I don't even know. I'm not sure if I feel like they're kind of even at everything.
You
I just
think?
think yeah, I think Jamar is just that big play threat where Amon-Ra really isn't. He's a move the chains kind of guy.
I mean, there was a few games last year where Chase got like 12 targets and he
Yeah,
caught like 10 balls.
yeah. Amon-Ra though
But I
can get
guess
you 10 like any week. It
yeah,
depends if they incorporate him
I
that
guess
much.
that is that yeah, I guess yeah, I guess it is that aspect like you said of he's not as consistent because they have or they had last year Boyd and T Higgins, so that kind of throws
Yep.
them off a little bit. So yeah, I guess I can kind of see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're making this trade, it's kind of stupid, to be
Yeah.
honest. Keep what you have.
Um,
All right. So next year I got Tua and a
Tua
fourth.
for Purdy.
Literally nothing for Purdy. So it's just the fourth to me means nothing. So
No.
Tua or Purdy? Do you have a preference?
Mm, they both they both like to run the ball, both teams.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I feel like I need to see more from Purdy in order to go over the top and be like, oh yeah, I want Purdy for whoever. But I think I'd want to. I don't know. I think I'd want to keep Tua, but
Okay.
but I don't know if I had Purdy, I don't know if I'd want to give up. Uh, yeah, I guess I feel like I'd lean towards the Tua and the fourth, even though the fourth isn't anything.
Right. I would go with Purdy just because
You think?
Purdy is still on that rookie contract, so they can keep a lot more pieces around him, I think, as a team collectively, um, rather than Tua. I think Tua has more upside than Purdy, but I
Yeah.
think the system and the way they run it and the skill players they have, I lean Purdy.
Okay.
But again, I think if you have one of those as your QB2, you're not really losing either way. They're pretty
Yeah,
interchangeable.
because I mean, yeah, these guys really aren't like. At least I would hope they're not like your elite QB ones.
Yeah,
But they could be for like a lower end team, like because not everybody in the league is going out with a Josh Allen, obviously.
yep.
But so okay, the next one,
Got
I think it's a Bijan
Bijan.
and McCaffrey.
Yeah. So you got
Okay.
Bijan for C-Mac and a late second to pick two.
Ooh,
So let me ask you this: C-Mac or Bijan next season? Just straight up. This is
J
more.
just next season, I feel like it'll be McCaffrey.
Okay, 2 years from now.
I think they pro I think 2 years from now, McCaffrey probably has a slight decline, and then Bijan keeps going up and up. I feel like they'll probably be about equal in 2 years, and then I think Bijan eventually surpasses them.
Okay. I don't know. I,
So if
I
you're
think I
talking the long game, I'd probably go with Bijan.
yeah.
But if you're looking to win immediately, I'd probably go with the McCaffrey and the second round pick, which is like I was saying before, it's basically a third round pick.
Yeah. So that late two, say you take a receiver and he goes to a team like I don't know, the Panthers or the Raiders or something like that, right?
Okay.
You have like an opening for that number two wide receiver job, hypothetically.
Um,
I don't have a name I'm gonna touch. So just say the number two receiver on that team or something like that. So
okay.
I can see the Panthers going after someone in free agency and then drafting a guy with a decent draft capital. So let's say they're round
Yeah.
two pick. So you do that. Would you prefer C-Mac and a wide receiver with some upside, or would you take Bijan?
Again, I feel like it just depends on who you got already. I mean, if you need a receiver or if you need more depth at receiver,
Yep.
I feel like you could go with the C-Max side because I think C-Max still has the slight edge, but not for long.
Right.
Um, but I mean, do you think this is a fair trade, or do you think it favors one side more?
No, I think it's fair. I think you're paying for that youth a little bit. I
Yeah,
think I'd take C-Mac side though. I think I'd play for those 2 years with C-Mac and a good system, and then take my chance at that 211. Or you could maybe trade that 211 for another running back again for a short term like loaner guy. Maybe you get
yeah.
like a James Conner and C-Mac. You put two running backs in your lineup for
There you
Bijan,
go.
and you
Yeah.
kind of go all in. You push your chips in and see what happens.
Mhm.
All right. Next trade I got
Um,
here is a 201. So we have Tua and a 25 first for Lamar. And I think I
uh,
just take Lamar without hesitation.
yeah, Tua for me is definitely a few tiers down from Lamar.
100% agree.
Um, and then yeah, that round one, it's not even saying if it's an early round one or not.
Yeah,
If it
random
was if it
25.
was yeah, if it was the first overall pick, and Tua, would you take it or no?
In 25,
Yeah,
I still don't think so. I don't know
no.
how I feel about that class. I
Yeah,
know
because that
there's
would
more.
be that'd be this coming, not the one that's about to happen, but the next year's draft,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and those quarterbacks, from what I'm aware of, aren't that great at this
Mm.
point. Sure, someone might pop out of nowhere, and sure, that pick's going to go up in value. But I think if someone's going after Lamar, they're probably going for the win right now. So,
Yeah,
all right. So next trade I got is Jamar A. Rich, Tank Dell in the 25. Oh, sorry, Jamar and A. Rich for Tank Dell, a 25-1, 24-2, and CJ Stroud. And for me, I am probably taking the Stroud side because I'm not that high on Richardson compared to most. And I think if you take the sum of the pieces of Tank, also stacking with Stroud, and then the first and the second,
yeah,
hopefully you can make up something close to Jamar. So that's kind of how I lean.
yeah. I think I think I agree because Jamar and Tank Dell, like Jamar definitely has and like the slight edge for me, but I think that 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 difference between the two of them gets made up with the first and second overall or first and second round picks. And then for me personally, Richardson, I like him because of his rushing ability. Um, yeah, he's coming off an injury. And because of his rushing ability, he could get injured again, but I kind of see him as um like a lower Josh Allen kind of. Um Stroud, I like Stroud, but I think just the slight edge over Stroud, I give Richardson just because of the rushing ability. But I still think the round one pick and the round two pick makes up for that. Um, so yeah, I think I agree with you by taking the Stroud side. Now,
Right on.
what if they took out the round two and it was just Dell round one and Stroud? Would you still take that?
Yeah, I think for the flexibility of the first, because I would say the difference for me between Richardson and Stroud is a first. I don't know if I'm in the minority
Really?
on
You
that.
you think it's
Yeah,
that big?
yeah. I think Richardson is a good fantasy quarterback because of the rushing upside, but I don't know. He's had a long injury history going back to college and high school, and I don't know how I feel about him developing as a passer with the people they have in place around him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence. I'm probably lower than consensus on him by a lot, but I feel like he might have like the Justin Fields 3-year window, and he already missed
Okay.
most of his first season. So if that, because teams are not afraid to move on from quarterbacks today, so I think that's
Yeah,
the big thing.
that's
Stroud just won
that's for sure.
himself, rookie of the year. So
Yeah, so he's definitely won himself at least the next 5, 10
he
years
bought
of
some
being a
time. If he
starter.
falls off a cliff, he's got some time
Yeah,
to work with.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so last trade of the night, we got Bijan for A Chain, a 25 fourth, a 24 second, and a 24 third, or A Chain and a bunch of
No,
coin flips and shit
Bijan,
for
Bijan.
Bijan. Yeah, yeah. I'm going
Yeah, again,
Bijan.
that seems like someone wanting to just go for the home run ball, get Bijan to try and win it all, and they don't really have any other pieces to give, or they do, but they just don't want to give it up, so they can still
Yeah, I could also
be a
see this
top
guy
team.
like he traded his first in season for somebody or something like that, and now he's trying to again kind of put himself over the top. A lot of people are behind A Chain coming up, so A-Chain has crazy ceiling with his speed and the Miami offense, but I'd rather take again like that steady baseline of Bijan you expect to have with his ability.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, wisdom a a large series of trades here. I had a good time talking about some of these key players with
Yeah,
Brock
that's
tonight.
fun. Yeah.
We're gonna look to try to make this like a weekly event. Anything else to add, Brock?
Um, no, yeah, just I guess like and subscribe, and if you guys have any any trades that you guys are interested in, throw them in the comments and we'll check them out. And maybe next episode, then we'll look them over and give our thoughts on it.
Sounds good to me. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
All right.